not just companies that offer specialty like functional medicine testing, but just good old fashioned regular schmegular serology testing, urine testing, right? It's things that I'm doing with my clients anyway. These are things that I utilize day to day to help them heal, to help them optimize their health. Well, welcome back to another episode of the Charisse Williams Show. You guys, today we're talking about how to multiply your impact and income in the holistic health space. So let's just get straight into it. If you're only making money by doing the work, right? And what I mean by the work is direct patient care, right? You're building a business that depends on your presence instead of your power, all right? I'm going to break that down for you. So just ride with me on this one. Most holistic health coaches and nurse coaches and functional medicine practitioners, right? They're stuck in this trap, and I'm going to call it a trap. They master the skill, right? They master the skill and they stop there. What I mean by the skill is being a healer, working with patients or clients in direct care, right? But that one income stream, I will tell you, it is the slowest, potentially most exhausting, and most limiting way to grow. Now that I've said that and gotten that out in the air, right? Let me just give a little bit of a disclaimer. There's nothing wrong, and I want you to hear me from my heart on this. There is absolutely nothing wrong with you if you're listening to this and you're like, but I love direct patient care. I always have, I always will. That's what I want. I have no aspirations beyond that. Awesome. Seriously. And I mean that from the depths of my soul. Awesome. Bravo. Kudos. Brilliant. That's excellent. And at the same time, if you're listening to this and you're like, I love, direct patient care. I love working with my clients, whether it's virtually or in person or hybrid, right? I love helping people optimize their health. And I'm open to building and expanding beyond just that. I want to just say there is a place and space for both parties. There is no right or wrong. There is absolutely no right or wrong. I am here to share with you the possibilities. The truth of it is that mastering the skill, and I'm not underestimating, listen, most of us that are listening have been through nursing school. Many of you have gone on to become a nurse practitioner. Some of you are PAs. Many of you are medical doctors, naturopaths, doctors of Chinese medicine. Like there's there's a whole lot, right? So I'm not underestimating or undermining any of that at all, at all. It's beautiful. It's brilliant. It's needed. Absolutely. And it's also the beginning. It's just the beginning, right? And if you want true freedom, when I say freedom, I'm talking about time freedom, I'm talking about income freedom, I'm talking about energy freedom, then you want to lean into multiplying or leaning into how to multiply your impact without multiplying your hours. That's the key, without multiplying your hours. Okay. So doing the skill isn't the business. It's not the business. It's the foundation of the business. Okay. Right. But the ones who scale, who really grow, they, number one, they teach what they know. And I'm going to break this all down for you, but they teach what they know. They sell what supports that work. Right. They document the transformation and they build a platform that amplifies their voice far beyond working with people one to one. Okay. And again, I'm going to break this down. I'm going to break all four of those. Was that four? One, two, three. Yeah, there was four. I'm going to break all four of those down for you. So this isn't about hustle. Hustle is not in my vocabulary. I do not believe in it at all. But it is about leverage. It is certainly about leverage. And leveraged income is really the bridge between being booked out and being, let's say, blissed out. Seriously. Okay. So for me, what does this look like? Some of you might be following, some of you might be like, okay, wait a minute, I need to unpack that a little bit more. So I want to break it down for you in like really, really simple terms. Many of you have been in my ecosystem for quite some time. So you'll understand it when I break it down for you like this. So for me, it looked like this. I started with holistic health coaching. I still do holistic health coaching. I don't know that I will ever give up that portion of my business. I am a nurse at heart. I am a healer through and through. I'm also a teacher, but I am a healer through and through. I don't ever see myself not doing that. But I digress. I started with holistic health coaching. I continue with holistic health coaching, right? That was my first income stream. But as demand grew and I started to really hit capacity, right? So many of you know my story. I started doing one-to-one coaching, and then once I and one-to-one coaching is beautiful and it's wonderful, and I love it. And I still do it to this day, and it's scalable to an extent, right? You can only do one-to-one coaching to an extent, or you can only grow one-to-one coaching to an extent because there's only so many hours in the day, right? There's only so much time. And so once I hit my capacity with one-on-one coaching, which for me, I think it was like I had 13 one-to-one clients. Then that's when I shifted my model and included one-to-many coaching. So I still had our one-to-one clients, and then I started doing one-to-many, which is when I launched my group coaching, holistic health coaching programs, right? Because I realized I couldn't serve more people just by doing more. That was what I was bumping up against, and many of you can probably relate. You're starting to bump up against that. So then I started expanding, right? I expanded. I taught the skill and continue to teach the skill inside the Prosperous Practitioner Program. Many of you that are listening are alumni or even current students in the Prosperous Practitioner Program, and also the Quantum Leap Method, right? So I taught that and I teach that, right, inside of both of those programs and inside of several others, but I'll just name those two for now. So that's one, right? So the teaching part. Secondly, I partnered with national diagnostic companies, right? Not just companies that offer specialty like functional medicine testing, but just good old fashioned regular schmegular serology testing, urine testing, right? It's things that I'm doing with my patients or my clients anyway. These are things that I utilize day to day to help them heal, to help them optimize their health, to give me the data to know, okay, what's actually going on inside of you, right? And so that I can help you again heal, facilitate healing, and optimize your health. All right. So these are things that I was already utilizing anyway. But I decided to, okay, this just makes sense. Let me partner, right? So partnering with labs or diagnostic companies, partnering with supplement companies like nutraceutical grade, high quality, high potency nutraceuticals, supplements, right? All of my clients are on protocols, right? Where do those protocols come from? What are the components of those protocols? They are high grade nutraceutical grade supplements, right? And then most recently, as many of you know, I have partnered with a concierge telehealth platform for weight loss and longevity peptides, LEMD, right? So I want you to think about creating laterals. These are all laterals to my business. What are laterals to your business? For many of you, it's going to be the same thing, right? Even and I did this very, very early on with Vitamix in 2010. In 2010, no, 2011 is when I purchased. I think it was 2010 actually. Was when I purchased my Vitamix. That's when I really started like shifted everything in terms of my health. I started learning about food as medicine. Many of you guys know my story there. And I invested in a Vitamix blender, right? And I use that thing every single day to make everything from healthy ice cream, or I like to call it an ice cream, to soup, like literally whole foods soup, like throwing in tomatoes and celery and garlic cloves and literally blending up soups and everything in between, smoothies, all the things. And I would you would have thought that I worked for Vitamix. I would tell everybody I could tell, like, you gotta get yourself Vitamix. It's gonna make your life so easy. It's gonna help you. It's gonna make eating healthy so much easier for you. It's gonna cut your time in half. And you could have sworn I worked for Vitamix. I was such a proponent of Vitamix and still am. Eventually, I realized girl, like you're sending all these people to Vitamix. You should probably see if they have an affiliate program. So that way you can get compensated for it. And I did. They do. I reached out. They do have an affiliate program, and I became an affiliate for Vitamix as well. Even my skincare, because again, these are things that I'm working with my clients with, right? Cleaning up their skin, what they're putting not just in their body, but what they're putting on their body, right? So as I was researching different products and leaning into using, less toxic products or non-toxic products, right? Um, I started telling everybody, like, oh my God, I found these great products. I love it. Look at my skin. It's so much better. And I partnered with a company, Carrie Grand, right? Became an affiliate for them. So I want you to think about all the things that you recommend to your patients or your clients already, right? Things that you use in your personal day to day life to help facilitate your health journey, to help facilitate your healing, and create laterals because it just makes sense, right? So that's the partner piece. Leaning into the documenting. I documented my frameworks, right, in multiple places, but specifically in a couple of different ebooks and trainings, like many of you have it, the 7 non-negotiables for a thriving holistic health business. That's an ebook. And I literally documented, like, what are the 7 things that you absolutely must have? Okay. Also, my 10 Steps to Predictable 10K Months. It's an ebook, but it's also a training. And they're all, both of those, and I have many at this point. But I started with one, just like everyone starts with one. I started with one, and I just kept developing, kept creating, kept looking at what are some of the things that I say to people all the time? What are some of the things that I do all the time? Each and every one of you have a systematic way of doing things. You might not have stopped long enough to really assess it, but you do. You absolutely do, right? But these are all things now that are evergreen, meaning they're available 24/7. They're resources that people can grab 24/7. And then, of course, I built a platform with I built many platforms, but one, well, specifically the Quantum Leap Collective, which many of you listening are in the Quantum Leap Collective, and even the Quantum Leap Experience, right? That's my higher ticket, one on one, lots of done for you services that make your business just that much easier and better, right? But both of them are high impact, community based containers or experiences, if you will, that get to live beyond me, that get to grow beyond me, right? It allows me to be able to support healthcare providers, specifically in creating the freedom based business that's peaceful and profitable, as I like to call it, right? And then now, I get to mentor thousands, literally thousands of beautiful healers like yourself while protecting my peace and modeling the very freedom that I teach. Okay. So I just broke down 4 things. So let's go a little bit deeper because I want you to not just leave this podcast like, oh, that was interesting. I want you to be like, oh my God, okay, I see it now. I've jotted down some things. I got it. Right. So here's how you really start stacking your streams that don't rely on your energy. Because remember, at the end of the day, you only have a certain amount of energy. You only have a certain amount of time, right? One of my strengths, if any of you are familiar with Strength Finders, one of my top 5 strengths is maximizer. So I am always looking for ways to be able to maximize anything, whether it's maximizing, my time. I recently was telling someone, every morning I walk, and I usually walk about 45 minutes, and then I go into the gym and lift. But when I'm walking, I normally walk outside because I love being outside. And while I'm walking, like the little trail, about every, I don't know, 5 minutes or so, there's a park bench. And so what I do is I like knock out as many push-ups as I can against the bench. I knock out as many tricep dips as I can. I knock out as many mountain climbers as I can. And there's another little, I don't know what it's called, but whatever. It's like an ab activity, an abdominal activity. But bottom line is, I'm like, okay, how can I get the most out of these 45 minutes I'm going to be out here? How can I get the most? But not just walking and jogging and doing sprints, because I do a combination of all of that. But then like I said, I knock out some arm exercises, some ab exercises. And so, because that's what I do. I'm a maximizer. So let's break this down. Let me break this down for you even more so that we can start stacking streams. So one, do the skill. This is what you're likely already doing this now, right? Start with delivering results. Your one-to-one working with patients or clients one-to-one, right? Whether that's virtually or in person, doesn't matter. It's and whether that is in a traditional setting, so perhaps in a clinic or in a hospital setting, however it is that you work with your patients or your clients in the holistic health and functional medicine space, right? So that's doing the skill. Most of you can put a check mark next to that. I think all of us are doing that. Then moving on to teaching the skill, right? So turning your method into a signature program or masterclass even. This is really where you start. I don't know if this is a real word, but I'm gonna say codifying your brilliance. This is really when you start codifying your brilliance. Okay. Then sell what supports the skill, right? So think about things like labs and diagnostics, peptides. If one of the ways that you work with your clients or your patients a lot is from a fitness perspective, and maybe use those fitness bands. I can't think of the name of them, but the elastic bands, the resistance, that's what it is, resistant bands. Maybe partner with maybe the create your own resistant bands, or not even. Maybe you just partner with the resistant bands company that you use and love, right? So it's not about necessarily creating necessarily a new product. Like I mentioned, I love Vitamix. I was telling people about Vitamixes. Vitamix helped save my life. I mean, it didn't save my life, but it made my life so much simpler and easier. And made my health journey so much simpler and easier. And again, I was telling everybody about it anyway. It only made sense for me to be an affiliate with Vitamix, right? So think about that. So diagnostics, peptides, resistance bands, supplements, companies, things like that, right? These are all assets that your patients or your clients need anyway. You're telling them, you're sending them there anyway. They're being Amazon, or they're being to your full scripts account, or whatever accounts that you use, right? You're sending them there anyway. It just makes sense. All right. Then fourth, leaning into, so the first thing, let me just do it in order. Do the skill, which everyone's doing the skill, right? The healing portion, the one-to-one work or the one-to-many work. Secondly, teach the skill. That's turning your method into a signature program. Third, sell what supports the skill, like create the laterals to your business. Again, the labs, the diagnostics, the peptides, the resistance bands, the supplements, all the things. Okay. Fourth, document the skill. So create ebooks, mini courses, cheat sheets, templates. These add authority, and they also add passive income. And then the fifth thing is build a platform, okay, which is a community. Community is the compound interest of your business. It's the compound interest of your brand. So think things like memberships, events, whether they're in person or virtual, retreats, holistic health retreats, or whatever kind of retreats you want to host, right? So that's what I'm talking about here. Okay. And then from there, oh my gosh, from there, the doors open to licensing, right? So you can license your methodology, leaning into corporate wellness, licensing your methodology or your framework to different companies and corporations if you so desire, right? That opens the door to partnerships, that opens the doors to media. I actually did this very early on. I leveraged media because I understand the importance. I figured the more media I can get, the more eyes, the more people I can get in front of, the better. And the same is true for you as well. Okay, and then you can also lean into investments, right? I named many things, you guys. These are actually not in any particular order, and it's a buffet. You know, when you go to a buffet, you're like, oh, I want that, but I don't really like that, but I love this, and I want this, but I don't want this. You get to pick and choose. It's all available for you. So if you love everything, do everything, not all at once. Not all at once. Pick one thing, master it, and then continue on. Um, but again, if you want to just do one or two, if you're like, oh yeah, you know what, I really like the idea of I'm doing the skill anyway, it makes sense. I point people in different directions anyway, right? With whether it's a particular juicer or a blender or an app to track their macros or peptides to help with their gut health or with their weight loss journey, whatever it is, right? Just make it make sense for you. Okay. And again, this is not in any particular order. Okay. But this is how you go from practitioner to movement builder, like literally building a movement, this is literally how you make a bigger impact on health. This is also how you change how we deliver care, how we deliver health care, right? It changes everything. This is literally creating your legacy that lives on far beyond you. Okay, so I want you to ask yourself, where are you? Like, where are you in this evolution? And more importantly, what are you waiting for? Like, if you're in the camp of, yes, I love doing this skill, right? I love working with people one on one. I love helping them optimize their health. I love helping people heal. Again, me too. My hand is raised up in the air. And if you're like, but I also have some ideas. I've been thinking I want to do X, Y, and Z. Or maybe you're like, I didn't think about this until now you brought it up. And I'm like, ooh, that kind of excited me. I feel a little something stirring up inside of me, right? The question is, what are you waiting for? Like, seriously, what are you waiting for? You're sitting on brilliance that could be monetized in multiple ways. Again, not all at once, because there's a saying, you can eat the elephant one bite at a time, or even there's, what's the rabbit saying? If you chase two rabbits, you won't catch either one. You can't chase two rabbits at the same time because you're not going to catch either one. So be singularly focused, right? Be laser focused. Go all in on the one thing. Get it to where you want it to be as quickly as you desire, and then start adding in these other layers, okay? Piece by piece by piece by piece by piece, right? But know that you're holding the keys, you guys. You're holding the keys, you're holding the codes that someone else needs. And yet, you could very well still be doing just the work. And again, nothing wrong with doing just the work if that's what you want to do. That's perfectly fine. But if you know that you want more, let's not stop there just doing the work. Okay. This isn't just about scaling a business, it really is about activating and creating your legacy, right? Because I don't know about you, but I do know about you. I wasn't, and you're not. You aren't meant to burn out in service. You're meant to be of service, absolutely, absolutely, but you're not meant to burn out in service, right? You were meant to build a movement that outlives you, far outlives you. Okay, so let this be the moment that you choose more, if that's what you truly desire, right? More impact, more income, more freedom. So let's stop focusing on only being booked out and let's start building beyond the skill. That being said, as always, I love you. I appreciate you. And I'll see you next time on another episode of The Charyse Williams Show. Bye for now.